Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dan and as always I'm bringing you a weekly technical fundamental analysis and overview of the market. So let's begin right away. We're gonna skip the joke this time because it's not a joke what's happening in the market. So we will start as always with technical analysis for Nasdaq, then we'll cover some crypto, we'll go over economic calendar, some news, what's going on in the world, and without further ado, let's jump to the charts and see what's happening right now. So, as I've told you, we're starting with Nasdaq 100. Weekly chart as always. Look at these two beautiful wicks, how we bounced off exactly from this area. Did I tell you that we're gonna go back down to retest it? Yes, I did. And we went down twice and retested it and came back. And we have this really nice wicks formatted on the chart, which actually gives us a very nice signal, meaning that we are probably going to continue with the bullish momentum and that we're holding this area over here, that we turned it into a support. Now, another thing why I have the EMAs on, you see that EMA 20, which is the green line, is now pushing to cross the EMA 50, which is the red line. This is called a bullish cross or whatever you want to call it, golden cross. There's many names to it. Basically, this is a bullish sign, okay, for Nasdaq, and it might tell us that we are possibly heading into a bull market, that we're slowly changing and shifting directions to a bull market, which I don't believe, to be honest, and I'll talk about it later a little bit more. But it's just the technical signs are telling us that we're shifting the momentum to the upside and that we're going to continue the momentum further. So let me just zoom in a little bit further. On the daily chart, as you can see, we're above all three EMAs, EMA 200, which is the purple one, EMA 50, which is the red one, and EMA 20, which is the green line. And as you can see, we turned this area into a support, and now we're just bouncing back. However, we're still not out of the waters, muddy waters, because look at this area over here where we can't break. Let me just mark it for you to see. So we need to break this area over here. Look at all these wicks and the rejections around 13,250. So we need to break that area with vigor and go at least to 13,400 and then continue to 13,600 to be on the safe side, so we can say, okay, we're definitely holding on to this area. Right now, as you can see, there's a lot of red wicks and the situation is getting worse and worse in the stock market. We'll see what Monday brings us. Monday might brings us again a retracement and again a retest of the 13,000, just to continue, as I told you, in range, or break it to 13,400 and then go to 13,600. We will see. Depending on the earnings calendar, because I'm going to talk about it later, as I told you. Now on the indicator side, nothing new. There is this slight hidden bullish divergence on RSI. However, MACD is not showing the same, as you can see over here. So it's only one indicator that is giving us a buy signal, which we should have done over here, right, at this area over here. And whoever bought it here and rode it all the way up, congratulations, you made nice 250 plus points. And nothing much is happening. We still have the EMA 20 as well to give us a support in this area. So even if we pull back to the downside, again, I really expect us to hold the 13,000 area. Let me just zoom in one more on 4-hour chart to see if there's any immediate signals that we could take. No, nothing happening with the 4-hour chart. So, as an overview for Nasdaq, again, I will repeat the same thing. I do expect us to maybe come back and retest 13,000, depending on the earnings, depending on the situation, news, what's gonna happen, and then just range or break it with vigor and go all the way to 13,600. But I really don't think that we should go down below the 13,000 at the moment on Nasdaq. So if we come back to retest it, we should bounce back and maybe continue with this range. And by the way, this range now looks really nice for scalping, so you could take some shorts off of this area over here and just ride it all the way down and in a zigzag position until we have a breakout. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, this is a daily chart. The situation does not look that great. We have bearish divergence on Bitcoin on both MACD and RSI, and as you can see, Bitcoin is showing signs of weakness right over here in the 30,000 area. So to be honest, this for me is kind of a valid sell signal, and whoever is selling, I think this is the area to be in, okay, to open up your position. Now, as I've told you, these are just purely technicals. We might have some bullish news, some momentum that's going to keep up, and we might break up all the way up to the 32k, because okay, on the other hand, if you're looking only for the technicals, this might be a rising wedge which goes up, then has a slight pullback just to continue the momentum to the upside. So there's many ways to look at technical analysis, and everybody is seeing it with their own eyes and see different patterns. Let's see what the EMAs say. All the three EMAs, yes, we're above all the three EMAs on the daily chart, so we can actually confirm the bullish momentum. Now on Bitcoin, if we have a pullback, I really don't expect that we're gonna go lower than 29,100. okay, so this should be a pullback that if the pullback is going to happen, we should be going something like this, turn this previous resistance into a support, same thing like as we did the Nasdaq, and then continue either to the upside range a bit, have a momentum, and then break it to 32k and above. Now, to be honest, I really do have an opinion from the technical point of view that the bullish momentum for Bitcoin and for stocks and for everything is closing. Why? Because we have May upcoming and the summertime, and usually, as I've told you in the previous videos, the volatility goes down, everybody tends to sell off. So I think that if we're going to hit 32k, it's going to be by the end of April, and that's where I would actually consider the momentum. Look at the facts, what's going on in the world. We also have Fed recession projections, and everybody's slowly started to changing the narrative already and preparing ourselves to brace for the next quarter and for the second half of the year, that we're going to have a mild recession, as the Fed says. So all of this means that we probably are going to have a bit of a cool down, right? And let me just zoom out on a weekly chart. Look at this pump. So we had a pump all the way from 16k to 31k without bigger pullback, okay? This pump is huge. So we had one bigger pullback, when the Silicon Valley Bank collapse happened, which was from 25k back to 19k. Yes, okay, so we had one bigger pullback. But to be honest, we recovered so quick, we did a V-shaped recovery, that I really do think we are going to see a bigger correction in the near future. When, I don't know, but I do expect us going back all the way to 20k and revisiting these lows in near future, maybe by the end of the year. And then after that, that will be, I think, the final bottom. By the way, just to recall, so I do not expect us to create new lows. I really doubt that we're going to go lower than 15k. I don't see that coming. Even if the recession is bad, in the worst case scenario, from this point onwards, I do believe we're going to see 20k for Bitcoin, and that will be good. So just to recap it real quick, Bitcoin doesn't look really good. If we don't pump immediately by the end of the week, by the start of the next week, I do see us having a slight pullback to 29k, just to continue back and range, and then maybe break it to 32k. And afterwards, we might have a bigger correction, but we're gonna see. And just to cover quickly, Ethereum, okay? Ethereum, as I've already told you, after Shanghai upgrade, had a big push to the upside, and we actually went all the way to 2,160. Ethereum looks good, looks healthy. We held through this accumulation zone. My personal long was from this area over here, even though I actually longed it before that, but it was like day trade positions. And I rode it all the way to the upside. And yeah, we're still holding, but for Ethereum, it's the same story. Actually, we're showing some signs of weaknesses over here. As you can see, we formed this triangle, which is going to break either to the upside or to the downside. We're going to see if we keep up the momentum on Ethereum, we might break it all the way to the upside to 2,300 minimum. But if we don't keep up the momentum, then we're gonna flop at least back and revisit the 2000 and 2030 area. Okay, now let's move on to some news and economic calendar. As always, nothing big happening on Monday, that's why we're not going to cover it. Tuesday as well, building permits doesn't affect us that much. FOMC member Bauman speaks, you should listen maybe to that one. Wednesday, we don't have absolutely nothing. And then we have crude oil, but we're not interested in crude oil, right? It doesn't affect us. Then on Thursday, we have, as always, initial jobless claims. And then we have Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index and existing home sales. Also, again, the Fed member are going to speak. So pay attention to initial jobless claims. They're getting higher and higher. See how the jobs are starting to show cracks and starting to report higher and higher, which is not great for the economy, and that's why the recession is imminent. And then on Friday, nothing much, as you can see, no report. So basically this whole week is going to be not based on the economic calendar, just the initial jobless claims. This whole week is going to be based on what? On earnings calendar, right? Earnings season is here, and this is the only thing that keeps us afloat with the bullish momentum. In my humble opinion, I think that the only thing that keeps us still in this huge overstretched bullish momentum, because guys, let's go back one more time to Nasdaq. Look at this momentum from 10k to 13k on Nasdaq, and as I already told you, from 15k to 30k on Bitcoin. This stretch and run has been great for the bulls. It's amazing, and we are transitioning into bull market slowly, but we're not out of the bear market yet. So the only thing that can keep us the momentum until the end of April, or somewhere, let's say beginning of May, is the earnings calendar. If the earnings calendar is really good, then we're going to have keep up the momentum. Now Monday we have again banking sector. It started on Friday, it continues on Monday. Tuesday, again, banking sector, Netflix, Lockheed Martin Corporation, Prologis, etc. Wednesday, Tesla. This is going to affect Nasdaq as well as Netflix on the previous day. Thursday, Taiwan Semiconductor, Philip Morris, AT&T, American Express, Blackstone, etc. And then on Friday, Procter Gamble. Yeah, that will be it. So let's jump into news right away to continue explaining earnings recession to dominate headlines as Q1 reporting season kicks off. So as I told you, everybody is now saying that the S&P is projected to have its first earnings season recession since 2020. Basically, season recession means that the projections of the rate growth is going to be negative. The companies are not growing, they're going to be having very bad earning reports. If they're not that terrible, the earnings from the companies, the market will take it as a bullish sign. The market always does that. When you have headlines like these and when everybody's projecting bad things to happen and they don't happen, the market takes it positively. It's like, oh, okay, good. It's not that terrible. Tesla just failed a little bit. They didn't fail too much. Boom, bullish sign, right? This is how market thinks. This is how market reacts. Q1 earnings season officially kicks off on Friday. S&P 500 is projected to suffer its first earnings recession since 2020. Analysts expect minus 6.8% yearly profit decline and sales growth of plus 1.8%. Then again, another headline says recession odds jump as the Fed crushes consumers. The Fed now started mentioning recession, saying that we're going to have a mild recession. Basically, that means that we're already into one. I'm not going to repeat myself because we are. And the Fed now even confirmed it. They said we're going to have a mild one, but soon enough, if the things are bad, they're going to start changing the language and they say, maybe they're a little bit worse than we thought they are. Probably we're not going to have soft landing, not a mild recession. It's going to be a little bit of a tougher recession. So anyways, depending on the type of recession we have in the second half, if it's a really mild one, we're going to have a bull run faster, meaning the 2024, mid-2024, we should be already transitioned well into the bull run. But if the recession is quite bad, then probably we're just going to come out of the recession maybe somewhere mid or end of 2024. So then the bull run will be a little bit delayed by 2025. But anyways, I really think that we're going to start transitioning into bull run by beginning or the second quarter 2024. Now let's move on to some crypto news just to cover this for the end. And FTX has recovered 7.3 billion in assets, will consider rebooting exchange. Okay, so all of a sudden they found all these huge amounts of money, right? Stacked God knows where. And the worst part is FTT, the native token of the FTX, actually went up to 100% or something. People really think that they're gonna reboot. Even if they reboot the exchange, they're gonna be, who's gonna trust them, right? Would you put your money there? I know I wouldn't. Even under different management, they literally destroyed the brand, right? Maybe they will try to rebrand it. I don't even know who's gonna back it up. Like, there's so many questions around this exchange. I'm not saying it's a bad move. Like when Binance wanted to buy it out, that everybody was so hyped up and was happy because under Binance, that they would be well off and that Binance is a credible broker. So basically, if they have arranged with somebody who is credible like Binance, we don't know. We're gonna see the details, but I know one thing, that I will not be depositing $1 into FTX no matter who takes them over and no matter what happens to them. And people are actually angry because people want their money back. First give the people money back, then you can rethink of rebooting the exchange or whatever you want. So guys, just to sum it up, I do expect that this week is going to be driven by the earnings reports, not by the news. We're only going to have the initial jobless claims on Thursday. That's the only thing that you should be keeping an eye on. So pay attention to the market sentiments, how the earnings reports are. You need to look at that and follow the momentum. As I've told you, I really do think that the bullish window is slowly closing down, and I really do think and expect another leg down. Not maybe a big one, maybe not that big one, but I do expect the correction to come in soon, because we've been stretched on every single front for a while, and bulls deserve a break, and bears can take over for a bit. So let's say for a month or two, and yeah, just keep in mind that you always need to trade with the momentum, and you need to have a look at the bigger picture, and that's how you win. Now, until the next video, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.